What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we are going to take a look at Scarlet Witch from Multiverse of Madness, and you can order this at bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. $4 shipping, pile of loot. They double box your item. Let's take a look at this is the deluxe version, by the way, so it's a bigger piece because of the massive base that it comes with. If you get the single version, it'll be significantly smaller. But I personally believe that whenever there's a deluxe version, I almost always go for that. It just there's something about diorama bases just gets me over. Something about them. Let's take a look at this piece right here. Like on the box, in the back, the beautiful image of Scarlet Witch. In my opinion, she made that movie. You know, her story, it's not even, I feel like it's not even about Doctor Strange or whatever. Her pursuit of, being together with her child, she was amazing in the movie. Her portrayal, that is the Scarlet Witch that I know of, at least growing up. I didn't read a lot of comics, but we have this like cards when I was younger with X-Men on it, and I always envisioned her as a villain, and this is the portrayal that I've been waiting for. This is the Scarlet Witch that I know of. You know, when she first appeared on Avengers: Age of Ultron, I didn't know what to expect, and then eventually she became an Avenger. Again, I didn't read the comics, so that's probably the background or whatever. But I'm so glad to see this version of her, even though, let's say, it ends here. By the way, this is a part of the deluxe version. This dream walking, big brain looking thing. It looks good. And it's the difference between the regular. I think it's like $30, and then you do get this candles that you have to kind of attach to form a circle. It's hard to miss that. You really can't. Between those, and you got this handle for the Book of Darkhold as well. She comes with these pieces where I think it's a staple now for Scarlet Witch or Wanda to have those, and this is the Book of Darkhold. It is pretty cool as well. This is I don't have any Wanda / Scarlet Witch. The last one I had was from Age of Ultron, and we know she had the special edition from Age of I think it's Age of Ultron. No, Civil War, the sought after one, and then she had Civil War as well. And no, I think that's Age of Ultron, the special edition in Age of Ultron, Civil War, and then she had one something else. Now, WandaVision. And I just can't seem to pull the trigger. And I always wanted a Wanda in my collection, but I just couldn't. And I thought I was gonna wait for the Endgame version. I'm still gonna get that, but I just feel like after seeing the reviews and the blogger photos for her, I was just like, I just gotta get her. When the Endgame comes in, I'll buy it too. So, but for now, let me see if this can satisfy the need, and it really does. Let's take a look at the accessories that I just pulled out. As usual, she got different array of hands, some expressive hands. We've probably seen this before from previous Wandas, but this one has those, like those dark fingers. She just changed her oil, so that's what it is. I guess that's the villain look, I suppose. I'm glad, because I'm all for hand gestures, and I'm glad to see that. So the other ones, I was kind of getting it fixed, because I was hoping this is kind of like at least the smaller one, sort of like Sylvie, because Sylvie came out first before Scarlet Witch, where the effects are embedded into the fingers, so you don't have to mess around with it and whatnot. But it's not. It's removable. Honestly, she comes in with the relaxed hands. You're probably never gonna use the relaxed hands ever. The ideal here is that you get one of the expressive hands, pop it in there, and I don't know about you guys, but the I probably just need one expressive hands anyway. Maybe every once in a while I'll switch them over, and this is the other effects that comes with her. There's a groove inside of that where you insert the hand. That the instruction is not too clear, so I just kind of inspect it. Take your time. I shoved it in there. I don't know if it's gonna damage the paint over time. I don't intend of removing the hands anyway. It's just gonna stay there. I'm gonna dedicate this hands specifically for this effects, and that's it. You know, just keep it in there because I know those friction based effects, they rub off the paint, you know, and they take out the outer layer. It becomes shiny and whatnot. And you can see this is the other hairpiece. It's a bunch of magnets, and this is for her skirt, where you do have the option where one is kind of being blown in the air. I love the texture of this. It is consistent to her outfit and the Book of Darkhold, which has a lot of details in it. It's pretty cool. There's pages in it as well. You can open the book, and every individual, it has individual pages. I can't read it, but it's cool. It feels different. Like it doesn't feel like they just repeated. Maybe I just didn't inspect all of them, but it feels like the pages are individual. So now let's go to the deluxe part. Now, if you bought the single one, you'll get the first image that you saw plus a base, like the normal base that you get from Hot Toys. But this is what you're gonna get from the deluxe version. I've seen some reviews and they were talking about how it feels cheap. I disagree. Like the base itself, yes, it's made out of cardboard box, but it feels better than I thought it would be. I guess my expectations were low, but it kind of exceeded my expectation. At the same time, you're only paying $30 more here. So I don't think it's that bad. Now you got this Dream Walker effect, which could hold the Darkhold book as well. There's like a separate piece of effect that you can input, but I love it. I love this effect right here. You pair it up with that transparent pole. That pole at the bottom maybe could have been a lot better executed because of that big base, but the flooring itself it's raised, as you can see here. Yes, it's made out of cardboard, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna break. It feels like in a sturdy cardboard, and this base right here is screwed from the bottom part, so it could hold. You can hold it from there. That's where I hold it if I'm moving it around. But there's textures in here. Like I said, it's raised. The candles itself looks good. I mean, I wish they light up. That would be amazing. But I don't know how they're gonna manage to pull that off. But it looks good. The reason I got this is because I wanted to use those candles for like the Crow or Hellboy or Pennywise, any horror themed, you know, a character that I have. I always thought I could use that. And now let's take a look at the tailoring for Scarlett, which I love this figure. I want to say it right off the bat. I love this figure. Everything about this is fantastic. Her pants are super stretchy. You can put her on that sitting post. You've seen that over and over. You can pull that off. There's nothing showing compared to the WandaVision, where you see, you know, the shoulders, the gap in there, and no hindrance in articulation here whatsoever. And everything's hidden as well. The fabric that they used for this material, you can see how consistent her, you know, like the outer skirt is. And those are two different materials. This is fabric that you can push down. If you see the pegs in there, it's consistent to the end of her skirt, to her pants. Even though they change material, the texture, the pattern feels seamless. At least that's how I felt. The bottom part, as you can see, it's nice and ripped apart. You see some weathering in there. There's wires at the edge of her skirt as well. I guess that's what you call that. Some patterns on the back. The hair is, look at the hair. Look at how the hair is done here. I'm totally fine. And I want to see the artisan version because this hair is amazing. I, I, I don't know. Like rooted hair are great because it adds realism, but if it's like this. But the thing is, I don't really want to mess with it. Like I don't want to comb a figure's hair. At least I'd rather not, or it should be styled. If it's nicely styled, I'm all for it. But the price just kind of turns me off. I pre-ordered the Scarlet Witch, the endgame version, but not the rooted hair, sculpted hair as well. As far as the head sculpt, man, looks beautiful. By the way, I didn't get because her head is supposed to be tilted down, but I'm using the hair piece which drapes, in front of her shoulders, so you can't really tilt the head down. You gotta use the other piece, but I was lazy. It looks beautiful. It is spot on. I love the way they painted this. I would say dark Scarlet Witch, not Wanda. We'll call her Scarlet Witch. The makeup on the eye, she looks meaner, and I don't know. I think they just captured Elizabeth Olsen completely here. The hair is beautiful. The shine on it, the way it's wavy. You can't even see the seam. I mean, I guess you could. You can see it right there, but from different angles. If you don't know that you could change it, it's there. It's amazing. You could also remove her tiara or crown. There's gonna leave few gaps in the front, which it doesn't bother me as well, especially if you're taking a picture, because you can easily fill that. You see that right there? If you take it out, still a beautiful head sculpt without that. You see some gaps on both where they're inserted, but I don't mind it at all. I think I can display it like this. I don't mind. Also, the crown is made out of this soft rubber, really soft. So even if you drop it, you're not gonna break the tip or break it because it's really elastic, and I don't think it is gonna stain the figure. Articulation wise, I mentioned it earlier. I'm gonna remove this because I feel like it's gonna fall over, and then I'm gonna remove this front hair piece as well that I just dropped because you can't move her. Now you can move her head around, which you can see the hair on the back. It's still, when you make her look up, of course that's not gonna work, but making her look down, that works, especially if you do have the other hair piece. So that works. I'm gonna put it right on back. Arms, you can raise it from the sides pretty high. This part right here, it bunches up, but it feels like a Spider-Man suit where it's gonna heal itself. Although I would still be careful of displaying her for a long period of time. The waist articulation is not that great because you do have some plastic pieces on the front. You can pull her back. Crunching her down is a little bit of a stretch here. The pants, they're pretty stretchy. You could maneuver it in and out, raise her legs pretty high. Trust me, I put her in that sitting pose. You'll see it later on. So it is possible. Her knees bends pretty well. It's a split cut boot design, so you could move the ankles. There's no threading in her shoes. And this is the part on the side which you could change as well. So you remove that first, and then you kind of play it around with her thigh swivel, and you could put her in any pose. The biggest hinder, I would say, is the waist, but you still can, there's ways around it. Let's put it this way. She's very articulated. Put her in some poses before we wrap this thing up. It's getting longer now. This is where I forgot the Book of Darkhold was in. She's kind of like flying here. I just put her in a regular, stand. I think this is a Nebula stand or something. So you put those. You could pretty much use those effects on her hand in any hand. You just kind of maneuver it around, and she poses really well. Especially I would suggest get the deluxe version because those things do have an impact. I love it. I love those things, and you can see her here, with those magical mystic powers behind her. I love her, man. I love this figure. I think this figure is amazing. Really, really good looking figure as well. So, and going around, I think this is where she fought Dead Strange. You can see the dead souls behind her and whatnot. So, I don't know why it took me longer for this pose. I guess I just love the pose so much. But yeah, I mean, look at her. You put her on your display, and I get it. The endgame version is more, I would say, meaningful for me. I do love the movie, and this is her, by the way, with my No Way Home Strange. I love the No Way Home Strange. I could have gotten the Multiverse of Madness Strange, but it sold out quickly on Big Bad. So I was just like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I need 2 Doctor Strange. Maybe I do. But I opted just to keep this because I like the accessories he comes with. And his part on No Way Home is pretty vital. He got that sync as well. But even so, he's not from Multiverse of Madness. I think they display quite nice. Like they could still complement each other, even though technically a different look from Multiverse of Madness. So if I'm creating a scene, I believe I can still use the Strange as a stand-in for the Multiverse Madness of Doctor Strange. See, like the height difference, and they still look pretty well. And this is the post that I was talking about. It'll be better if you take her from on the cameras underneath. I can tell you that because you could raise the legs even higher, but I'm afraid. I was afraid to do that. So, and this is her with Darkhold book. You can see it from the background, but you have this display right here. I don't recommend you displaying her in this pose because I don't know, maybe it'll heal the pants. There's too many things that could go wrong here. The clamp on the waist, the knees. You're gonna stretch the fabric. You're gonna put some stress on her waist as well because of that clamp. I normally use that clamp on her legs, just kind of resting in there, and I've never had any issues with that in the past. So that's what I plan on doing with her. But again, the display, even though I'm not gonna use it in this kind of pose, there's a nice impact the way this entire set is. That dream walking, effect with the base and those candles and all that stuff. I think it looks phenomenal. And so this is my final thoughts on this one. Most likely this is how she's gonna look like in my display on a regular basis, because I'm all for just standard look. I try to avoid putting them in a position where I'm gonna damage the suit, because the suit is too nice. This figure is too damn nice. But final thoughts on this piece, it looks great. It looks great, man. I mean, if you don't have any Wanda yet, I think this is the way to go. I think I've seen reviews of the WandaVision one, and I'm sure it is a great figure as well. But if you don't have one yet, or if you have that, I think this is a good compliment. This is totally different look from the WandaVision one that you could argue you could have both. Or you could just wait for the endgame version as well. I will get the endgame version as well. I like the base, and I like the look. I collect anything endgame, but there's a few elements here that I just couldn't pass on. Like the base itself, you can put the effects at the bottom, like what I did. Even leave the hands there, I don't care. So it's easily accessible for me. I can use, again, this candle and the base itself. Maybe not the brain dream walking thing, but I can use them for the crow. I'm excited for that. And my Pennywise, Hellboy, other horror figures that I do have, and it'll be a nice compliment. You can pick that up too, maybe like in the Toy Anxiety or eBay or something like that. But as far as the figure, top notch, highly recommended. I love it. Only missing is the purse. But let me know in the comments down below, how do you think about this figure? Are you planning on picking up Scarlett or Endgame version? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.